Hi, everyone, and welcome very much to Karishma Bhagani, who is joining us from New York University. Karishma, we're excited to have you. This is a school hosting at St. Elizabeth at the York Catholic District School Board. They're very excited to chat with you today. You have a group of grade 11 students from Mrs. Bonofilio's class and a group of grade 10 students from Miss Penny's class, and I'm sure lots of other people watching live as well. So perhaps we could begin with you introducing yourself and your project to us.
Great. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Karishma. I am a freshman at the Tisch School of the Arts at New York University. I'm double majoring in drama and history, my primary major being drama. And I'm so excited to speak to all of you today. Great. So I'm just going to speak a little bit about my project from the beginning stages and then move on to answering any questions that you might have or anything like that. It's more of a conversation. So I'm truly very excited to speak to you, and this is actually the last webinar we're having, so it's going to be great. So my project is entitled Matone de Chivit, which means drops of life in 3 different languages. So Matone means drops in Kiswahili, which is a Kenyan language, hence representing the continent of Africa. Then De means often Spanish, which represents Latin America. And Chivit means life in Thai, which represents Asia. The reason why I mentioned the representations is because these are the 3 continents in the world that suffer most from water scarcity and lack of access to clean drinking water. And the title of this project truly does speak for our mission, which is to go global, which I hope that all of you will also soon be a part of. So Matone de Chivit is an organization that was recently founded, but I've been working on it since I was in middle school. So I went to an international baccalaureate school. I went to the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, and as part of the MYP middle years program, we have to do a personal project. So in the International Baccalaureate High School program, this would translate to an extended essay, but in the middle years program, it's called a personal project, and you can do anything that you're interested in. So I decided to take this project up, and my inspiration was mainly based on the fact that the country was facing a lot of weather changes in weather, a lot of fluctuating weather conditions. Half of the country was drought-stricken, and then the other half had a lot of flooding. And the flooding was mainly in the coastal areas, which is where I live in Mombasa. And a lot of this flooding was spreading a lot of waterborne diseases, including tuberculosis, diarrhea, cholera, a couple of others. And so this was affecting the working population in the country. A lot of people were sick all the time. Students couldn't go to school, you know, and it was really detrimental to the economy as well. So that's where I decided to carry out a lot of research and create this unit. So this unit is what will help purify water. It purifies borehole water and river water to make it potable for consumption. So potable means you can drink it. It was tested by the Coast Water Services Board, which is the organization in Mombasa that tests water, that companies that distill water, that produce mineral water, have their water tested there. So it was tested by the Coast Water Services Board, and it tested successful, and it uses all natural elements, and this includes, you know, things like sand, gravel, charcoal, cotton cloth, so all very simple things that are locally available and easily replaceable. So that's actually what the beauty of the unit is that it can be created in any way, shape, or form, and can easily be replicated around the world, again, speaking for the global mission. In terms of the process, it took a lot of time. At the stage we're at currently, it's where we've just established a team. We have our board of directors. We have the executive director, our artistic director, director of research and development, and director of finance and fundraising. So aside from that, just the development of the unit has taken such a long time. But it's been a great experience so far. We had the chance of carrying out a test with the test community, thanks to sponsorship from Davis and Shirtliff. So quite a couple of avenues we're exploring. It won the first prize at the international science competition. That kind of allowed us to develop the project, allowed me to develop the project. So it's been a great journey so far. But I'd love to answer any questions that you might answer any questions that you might have, and speak to you more about it. Thank you for listening.
Who has the first question? So they're just going to come up and sit in front of the camera.
Sure. If you could just introduce yourself and then ask your question, it'd be great. That way I can get to know you and we can speak as well.
So I'm Brittany, and my question is, what are you studying in university?
I'm double majoring in drama and history. So theater arts is my primary major and history is my non-primary major. Yeah. That's what I'm studying currently, yeah.
Great, thank
you.
Who has number 2?
I'm Elise, and how long did you live in Kenya?
Hey, okay, so I've lived in Kenya all my life, actually. I've just recently moved to New York as of August last year to study, to pursue further studies, but I've lived in Mombasa in the same apartment, and been in the same school all my life.
Thank you. 3? Who has number 3?
Hi, I'm Francis, and my question is, what inspired you to come up with the idea of a water purification system?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? You were breaking up.
What inspired you to come up with the idea of a water purification system?
What inspired me? So that's a good question. I think it started off really with the fluctuating weather problems in the country at that time. There was a really high spread of cholera and tuberculosis and diarrhea especially. And I was one of the fortunate ones to have access to adequate health care so that, you know, I got my medication on time. I made sure I was fortunate enough to receive that kind of treatment. However, not everybody living around me had that access to such good health care. And so I thought about 2 different things. One is either dealing with the problem that's immediate, which is providing medication, and then or I thought of creating a long-term solution that would eventually help in the longer term, such that if there's a situation of flooding again, then people are not stuck. So that really was my inspiration: fluctuating weather problems and the rampant spread of waterborne diseases in the country at the time. We actually also, as part of our community and service in the IB program, did a deworming project. So we did deal with the direct solution there, because the floods can be, I wouldn't say predicted, but they happen almost every year. So we did do a deworming project where we went out into the community and provided people with medication, but at the same time I was developing this project, this water project, to think about a longer, sustainable solution.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Emily. My question is, how did you go about fundraising or getting money to fund this project?
That is probably one of the toughest questions I've had to answer, because it's really good for starters, but it's a challenge with fundraising. For our test community, I was able to, pitch my presentation, pitch my project to Davis and Shirtlift, which is a water company back home, and they provide water pumps and other filtration systems, but their main focus is for households that can actually afford it. The population back home doesn't earn, well, the GDP is about $200 to $250 for an average, Kenyan, and so it's very difficult for them to be able to afford certain products that Davis and Shirtlift creates, or any other water products in the market. So I was able to pitch my idea to them, and they really, really liked it, because it went out into the community and dealt with the problem on the ground root and on the grassroots level. And that's where I got my funding for the pilot project to start off with. The good thing about this unit is that it's very cost effective, which means it doesn't take that much money to create the unit. I think for our future, the reason why right now we're focusing on raising awareness and doing marketing first is because we're looking for avenues to raise funds through crowdfunding or through global classrooms such as yourselves to have some sort of a fundraising kind of venture or encounter. And that really is a challenge that we face. So that's something that is worth looking into for future development, but also to think about a way of sustaining it. I hope that answers your question in some way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Alexander, and do you have any science background?
Do I have any science background, as in education-wise?
Yeah, like just any science background.
So I did the IB program, the International Baccalaureate, and so each student is created or is required to take a range of different courses. So aside from, we have to take about 6 subjects, one of which is an elective, but one of them has to be a science, the other one has to be a social science. So because I did the International Baccalaureate program, there is that holistic element of the student. And so to answer your question in short, yes, I do have a science background. I did biology as one of my subjects, a standard level subject. But also the school that I went to was very, very much oriented with doing enrichment and extracurricular activities. So we always had opportunities to go outside the classroom and be able to engage in science-related activities outside the classroom through our clubs or through our enrichment activities. So, for example, the International Science Fair, that was an enrichment activity that students were allowed to sign up for, and so I signed up for that as an extracurricular and went into the international competition, into the nationals, and then into the international competition as a result. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda. My question is, how are you promoting this project?
You guys! Good question. There are a lot of avenues that we've started exploring when it comes to promoting. As I said, that we are a nascent organization, which means that we're still developing, still thinking of ideas, still coming up with ways to interact with people from all over the world. To start off with, before I came to university, we had an enrichment club in school called UHAI, which means life in Kiswahili. And a couple of my friends and I took over that from the seniors after they graduated, and our intention was to be able to market and raise awareness about this project through UHAI. So we had a lot of fun days and not fundraiser events, but fun days to educate people about water scarcity there. Right now in university, we're going to be having a couple of info sessions over the course of next week. For the university students, we have the residential college program that I'm part of here that allows me to do some marketing there. And then most importantly, the biggest part at this point is speaking to all of you wonderful students from around the country and educating you about the project, raising awareness, and then we'll eventually speak about how we can all get involved together and raise awareness together.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. That was a great question.
Hi. We would like to know how exactly does the water purification system work?
How does it work? Okay. So it's a very simple purification unit. It has different levels and purification elements, including things like sand, gravel, charcoal, cotton cloth, all locally available. And these are housed in containers that students would normally take lunch in. So they're plastic containers, and they have this layering of different elements. And water is then passed through a funnel through all these elements and is then collected in a bucket at the bottom. It's a 5-liter bucket, and once the water accumulates, then moringa, which is dried seed kernels, dried seed kernels of the moringa plant, of drumsticks, the vegetable, is then crushed and used to clean the water of any pathogens or antioxidants, and those are the disease-spreading microorganisms that our intention is to get rid of. And then there's a tap at the bottom of the bucket, which you can then take the water from. So the throughput time, which means the time that it takes for the water to pass from the first layer to the end, is about 30 minutes for 5 liters. So it's not as speedy as a reverse osmosis unit on electricity would be, but it's quite speedy considering it only uses natural elements and has, it's a very simple model. Again, depending on the dirt levels of the source water, this time would differ. So if it's river water, more time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Joseph.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm Joseph.
Hey, Joseph.
I want to know if you designed the actual prototype like yourself.
Yes, yes, I did. I did.
Okay, thanks.
Good question. Yeah, I did. I designed the. It took a lot of research, but yeah.
Hi, my name is Julia, and my question is, who did you work with to create the system?
So did I work? So just to give you a little bit of a background on what the MYP personal project is about, because that will give you an insight into the resources I have. It's very student-led project. So students have the freedom to do whatever they wish to do for this project. I had a couple of friends. So my best friend did a project on child development, and she created paintings and shirts and did that all on her own. So it gives you a lot of independence that way. And so essentially I started off with this idea and then spoke to, and it's an individual thing because it's a personal project. So I spoke to my parents about it, got some insights from them, and then we're all assigned a supervisor. So my supervisor was at the time he was the Dean of Studies, but then the principal of the academy, he was Mr. Bardai, and Mr. Nahid Bardai, and he kind of guided me through the entire process of how to write a report and how to do a literature review and how to be able to get these sources and take advantage of all the resources that I have around. And then when it came to the practical element, to the creation of the purification unit, that was a really, really, really tedious, tough, and challenging process because I'd done a lot of research, a lot of literature reviews, a lot of research about the project and about what should ideally work. And then it came to creating the unit, and in theory, galvanized steel and stainless steel would have worked as the frame. And then I tried to boil water, and the next thing I see is it's corroding. The stainless steel and the galvanized steel is corroding, which is not healthy, because when you're dealing with health of this is something so important to consider. And so I realized theory is not always the same as practicality. So I failed 3 or 4 times before the actual created and what it is today. So I had a lot of support from the supervisor. The supervisor from the entire MYP program and all of these other programs, not the programs, but the Dean of Studies and the MYP coordinator to assist us. And my parents. Parents were my biggest support.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and also now we're a larger team. So sorry, I just forgot. That was in the past. Now we're a team. So I'm working with directors to expand the project and the Reynolds program here as well. Sorry, yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and my question is, what happened to the product after 18 months of it being used?
What happened to the product?
Yeah, like.
I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear. Sorry. 1 second.
That was my fault. I just muted her. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try that again.
No problem.
Can you hear her now? Do you want to try talking now?
Yes. Go ahead. What happened?
Okay. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Don't sit down.
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. So my question is, what happened to the product after 18 months? Can it like last up to 18 months, or like is it reused?
Okay. I do need to hear. Okay. So 18 months is an estimate for the amount of time that it lasts for without having fully repeated frame. However, it really depends on how the individual look after them. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Just cutting a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends on how the family looks after the product and how they maintain it, whether they clean it on a weekly basis or on a regular basis. And so after 18 months, ideally we would suggest, just so that we're in line with the health standards, for you to strip the frame as well. Because as you know, even though this is a sustainable solution, plastic is something that does need to be removed from time to time. And so our recommendation is after 18 months to change our unit frame-wise.
Okay, thank you.
That answers.
There we go.
So, hi, my name is Sabrina.
Hi.
And my question is, where is this product produced and how do you dispose of it?
Where is the product produced and how do you what?
Dispose of it.
Okay. So, in essence, what we're trying to create is a small network. So when we did the pilot project, because it was part of my personal project, I created the units and I manufactured manufactured sounds like a factory, but I created the units and I distributed them with the help of my parents. And however, with the expansion of this organization, what we intend to do is create this network through the academies and through all of you to be able to create these units. So I have the design, I have the structure and everything, and the UHI started off in the academy would pilot the project. So the students would meet on a weekly basis or twice a week to create these units based on what the requirements are. And the beauty about the unit is that it's so simple to create, and so it doesn't need that much of a rigorous training process. And that is that attests to the fact that it is practical in a village context or in a rural community context, because you'll find that a lot of people aren't literate. So because the unit is so simple to create, it can be easily manufactured by students. It can be easily created by students, and then as part of the community and service, which is also another requirement of the IB program, students can actually go out and do the donations and the pilots. But all of them be monitored on a very strict and strong basis from the directors. So of course, if we were to do our second pilot, which will hopefully be in the next couple of months, then we would all be there for the pilot. But as these communities start increasing, as the number of distribution sites start increasing, then this is all done at the discretion of the students, but monitored. And our intention is to expand from Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa to the sister school in Hyderabad, then to the sister school in Mozambique. So we're in that network, also expanding our horizon and dealing with the problem in various countries and the world, essentially.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful. Just thought I'd mention that because, yeah, great.
I'm Nicole. I'd just like to know what challenges and difficulties did you run into when making the system?
Okay, that's another very good question, and I think I've highlighted it a little bit earlier. But one of the main challenges that I faced when creating the unit was understanding the difference between theory and practicality. That was hands down the one lesson that I learned and the one challenge that I faced. There were a lot of failures. There was a point where I was not sure if this project would even take off or would even be successful, let alone, thinking about expanding. So it took a lot of resilience and it took a lot of updating of research to be able to evolve the product based on the world we're living in. So actually, I started off with using chlorine to purify the water from pathogens and disease spreading. But after the project ended, I went into the national field fair. I got a lot of help from my judges, and they said that using with plastic, it reacts, not healthy. And so I had to evolve, and I had to use a different product, and that's moringa. And so trying to understand that this product will change over time, will evolve based on where we are or where the community is that we're targeting is so important. And being able to adapt to that is another important thing. One of the large lessons that I would pass on to everybody, or that I learned, was this: that failure is not a bad thing. You can fail, and probably your best successes will come out of your failures. Your success is rooted within a failure. And appreciating that as part of the process will help you grow as a person and also help the project grow. And currently at this stage, aside from continuously evolving the product and adapting it to the environment, I think the biggest challenge we're facing is fundraising. Because to be able to find people who are interested legitimately for a long term to donate to this cause is very difficult. Because you can find one-time donors. You can find one-time donors who will give you a large sum of money or a small sum of money or whatever. And then once you run out of that, then what happens? So I think it's so important to strategize, but at the same time know that you have sources financially to rely on, or fundraising events and efforts that you have to rely on financially. Because when it comes to expansion, there's no going back in terms of funds. It's everything. It's sad but true.
Hi, I'm Elaine. My question is, can you purify salt water?
Hey, that's a very good question. So currently the unit only purifies 2 sources of water, that is borehole and river water. But as part of our effort fund and to evolve the product is to create some sort of unit that's cost effective for desalination. As part of my literature review, I had the opportunity to go to a factory that produces bottled water, the Pride Drinking Factory in Mombasa, and they use salt water, well, borehole and salt water, slightly saline water, and they use reverse osmosis, and that's how bottled water is. And that is a very, very process. And this was about 4 years ago, so it probably increased cost-wise, but it takes about $2,000 a month just to pay for electricity to run that one machine that does the reverse osmosis. This doesn't take into account replacing the carbon filters, doesn't take into account bottling the water, doesn't take into account anything else, just electricity per month for that one piece of machinery. So it's very, very expensive to get salt water, and our intention is to carry out certain research so that we can see what options we could have to make it less saline, if anything. So ocean water would be your ideal thing to purify so much of, but keeping in mind the practical, it's something that you have to evolve. I don't know if I can.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I don't know if any of you watched the movie Life of Pi, but in there, Piscine Patel is a natural element, purification element to purify salt water while he's, stuck at sea. So that's actually what we're doing currently.
Hi, my name is Kelly. What makes water drinkable, and what kinds of things in the water can you filter out?
What makes water drinkable? Okay. So there are can you all hear me properly? Okay, there are a particular there's a particular list of criteria that the World Health Organization and the Coast Water Services Board uses as standards to see what can be and or what needs to be verified. Some of these things are simple. There's total hardness of the water, alkalinity, turbidity, total dissolvence, and so turbidity would essentially mean how much soil, in very simple terms, how much soil is in the water, how much dirt is in the water. So there are a certain specifications for the number of parts per million of these salts and the turbidity that's allowed according to the standards that's made, and that's what we used to test whether or not one of the other is residual chlorine. So just to give you a rundown of the elements of purification, you'll find that the gravel and the sand purify the water from large parts. The river water sometimes has twigs, it has leaves, those things are purified. Then charcoal is used to clean the water of color or odor. So any bad odor or color of the water is cleaned using charcoal. And this is not active charcoal, this is species of charcoal, which have and the cotton will be just there for any sort of fine impurities. And then first you have the pathogens in the water. The pathogens are the biggest thing. These spreading microorganisms. Those are the things like the diarrhea or anything like that. and that is cleaned using the moringa. So the moringa chemistry, simple chemistry, has a positive charge, and the dirt or the pathogens have a negative charge. Positive and negative opposites attract. They attract a layer of dirt or residue on top of the water, which can then and the water is consumed.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to know what motivates you.
What mode?
What?
That's a deep question. There's a lot of things. So when it comes to this project, it definitely is seeing the outcome and the result. When I went out and donated those, there was a try. So I donated each unit to a separate family, and one of the ladies to get one for her family, and a child followed her. And of course, the child was really young, so I couldn't give the child the unit. Gave the mother the unit. And the mother had this huge smile on her face. She was grateful, so grateful. But the child just looks up at me and smiles and says thank you and says asante in Kiswahili. And this child's just learning how to speak. And that was the best moment. That feeling of happiness, but that feeling of accomplishment and all this other stuff just summed up into that one moment where the child looks at me and says asante, because I knew that she would potentially be saved from walking 20 miles a day to go and get water when she was old enough, because that is to purify the water. And that just makes me so happy to know that even if it's in the sun, at least there's some sort of difference. And it kind of goes back to the point of successes and failures. There are a lot of times where you feel like giving up. There are a lot of times where you feel like things are not going your way, life is not happening the way it is supposed to be. But it's about these rules, and it's about pushing yourself beyond anything you could imagine.
Okay, thank you.
And keep smiling, that's important.
Hello, my name is Giancarlo.
Hey.
How did you overcome the setbacks while creating your water filtration system and not give up?
Okay. So the simple answer to overcoming the setbacks would be doing more research and experimenting. That's the simple thing. But I think the not giving up part really does go into a more nuanced argument or thing, because a lot of the time you end up saying, I don't want to do it, or this is hard for me, or maybe it just wasn't meant to be. And I think one thing that kept me going was I'm just the kind of person who I don't get my way for certain things, or if it doesn't happen, I know that it's supposed to happen and it's been done before, or even if it's not been done before, if I aim for something, I will do whatever it takes to get it. And I think that's what kept me going. That was what my motivation was during that time, because I'm naturally curious about things, and when it doesn't happen and I still want to learn more about it, I'll push myself. And my mom says it can get to be disadvantageous at times, but I think finding that balance is important. And so again, it's about finding the balance between, okay, this is going to work, this is practical, and I'm not going to give up. So it seems like it's also a story. When I was thinking about creating this unit and I spoke to my parents about it, my parents were like, oh, this is a great goal, this is perfect, it's amazing. But then they went on to say, Karishma, have you thought practically? You have less than 8 months to develop this for your personal project. At this time, I didn't know that it would be expanded to this level. They said, you have 8 months to develop this for your personal project, and then you have to write a report. Are you going to be able to do it? Are you? And there was no negativity from them, but it was very much, a reality check. Don't aim for something that you know that won't necessarily happen in such a short period of time. And I said to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever, try as hard as I can to get as far as I can. And then we have a whole life ahead of us. That's when life begins.
Thank you.
No problem.
Last one.
Hi, I'm Lucas.
Hi, Lucas.
Do you have any advice for students who want to help but feel like some of the world's problems are too big?
Any advice? Okay. I'll just say one thing. Even if it's waking up in the morning and looking at your face in the mirror and saying, this is what I want to do, or this is what I'm passionate about doing, even if it's something as huge as world peace, that's making a difference. And you know what? Where the difference is that your mindset that's changed. Is that you've woken up in the morning, looked at yourself in the mirror, and said, so now imagine if you can do that, and if you can spread that impact to 7 billion people, and they think the same way, then what? We'd have a peaceful world, right? So just being able to motivate yourself and knowing that your mindset can change the mindset of the people around you is so important. And that's the first piece of advice I'd give anybody. It really is about understanding that who you are is based on your surroundings, and your surroundings are based on you. So if you walk out and you have a smile on your face, you'll find a lot of other people around you smiling. It might take you a little bit of coaxing to smile, but they will. I appreciate it. So just like that, I think with any problem that you feel is too big, just remember you're the one who has control over it. And you have control over how big it is for you. So that's the piece of advice I'd give for anybody who wants to do anything they think is bigger than themselves. And your intentions, of course. And in regards to this project, there's a lot that you can help out with. We always love people to help out. And if you'd like to speak more about the fundraising things or marketing things, I'd love to speak to all of you individually. I think your teachers have my email address as well. But in essence, what we're planning to do is have some sort of a marketing and awareness campaign. And that could involve you creating anything that you'd like to raise awareness about water scarcity in your community and also about the project. So it could be a video, a promotional video about water scarcity, lack of access to clean drinking water, and what Maternity Chivit is doing to help out, or aims to do. And we've been speaking to a lot of students at different levels from grade 5, and we're doing a university talk next week, so it's planning a lot of age. And what we're kind of putting this on is the Our Blue Earth campaign, and being able to probably add our logo to your art piece, or filling out a proposal form, which I'll send out soon, to have some sort of marketing awareness campaign, part of a national and a global mission as a result. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, my name is Sabrina. So on behalf of our student Elizabeth community, we would like to extend our sincerest thanks for sharing your wisdom and experience with us today. You're an inspiration to all students who have a dream that can change the world one day. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great speaking to all of you. It's great to know that you all are interested in making the world a better place. And as I said, remember, nothing's bigger than you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Karishma. Bye-bye.
Bye.